County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First item on the agenda is invocation pledge of allegiance of the U.S. Texas flag. Chaplain G.H. Jones and Commissioner Catalina will lead them.
Dear God, we come today this morning thanking you for this day, thanking you for all of your blessings that you have bestowed upon each of us. This is the day that you have made it, and we're going to rejoice and be happy in it. Pray for County Director, County Commissioners, as they do business for Brazos County, direct them, lead them, and guide them in the right direction and in the right path. We pray for the Brazos County Courthouse family. We pray for Texas. We pray for America. Pray for a president of the United States of America, giving them wisdom, knowledge, how to lead this country. Pray for all of our law enforcement officers whose lives are in jeopardy each day. Now, God, be with each of us throughout this day. And everybody says amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Chaplain Jones. Commissioner. Second item on the agenda is call for citizens' input and or concerns. Hearing none. Three, presentation and discussions. Presentation of the Bush Wellman Improvement Project by Tim Lomax, Texas A&M Transportation. Tim.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the time on your agenda. I wanted to bring you a project that we're working on with the Texas Department of Transportation. We've been asked to try to get some public engagement on this project. It's not going to happen for a while, but we've got time and we need the public to give us some input. So I wanted to sort of walk you through the presentation that we're using to get some of that input and incite some people to go to our questionnaire. I don't think it's a surprise that this is a busy, congested intersection. Those of us in transportation engineering like to think of this as job security. Everybody else thinks of it as a big problem. There are something more than 200 special events that run through this intersection, many of them very large. It's not just football, it's basketball, baseball, a whole bunch of cultural events. And because it's not enough of a problem with the cars and buses and pedestrians and bicyclists, we got 20 or more trains that run through the intersection as well. It's also the southwest gateway to the county, to the campus, and so it's not just a transportation facility. It's a part of the civic background as well. A&M has been growing for many years. Bryan College Station is going to continue to grow. Doubling in the next 30 years or so. I think we're looking at how do you transform this intersection and recognize that it's not just a problem now, it's going to be an even bigger problem in the future. I have been working with football game day transportation planning for the last several years, and one of the stats I like to throw out is that on game day, we're the fourth largest downtown in the state. You've got Houston and Dallas are about 150,000. Austin's about 125,000 employees, and any given game day we can be in that same range. We have much less in the way of transportation to serve all those needs. Well, if you think about it, we're really the fourth largest downtown in the state Monday through Friday as well. So we're the 15th largest metropolitan area, but we're the fourth largest downtown in the state, and we have the biggest university right next to this intersection. This is all to say, don't blame me for all these problems. So what are we going to try to do? We're going to try to do everything. We're going to try to improve safety. We're going to try to reduce congestion. We're going to try to do this with a minimum of disruption, and we're going to do this while honoring the historic significance of the intersection. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. The only way we can really do this is to enhance the communication about this project, to get everybody involved. The project actually started in the last century. TxDOT started looking at changes and ideas. They had some public meetings, public hearings, came to a conclusion, got a final environmental clearance in 2008, and they've been steadily working at this for a while. But as of now, TxDOT is out there buying right away, but we don't have funding, and we don't have a construction date certain yet. But we're pretty confident that if we can get public behind a consensus project, that we can go to Austin and get some additional state money that makes up for this 15th largest metro, largest university, 4th largest downtown imbalance, and create a project and begin working as soon as we can. Now, what we're going to do is not set in stone. If you search for Bush-Welborn, you'll find a design. And so what I've got here in the next 3 slides is sort of a depiction of that design. But again, this is not set in stone. We've looked at the amount of space that you need, and we will need about this amount of space no matter what the design is. But right now, the railroad, if you think about where the railroad is now, it's pretty much going to stay there, and that's going to be the top of the intersection. Adjacent to that, to the east, there'll be 2 through roadways, one northbound, one southbound, 2 lanes each, that will allow you to bypass the intersection if you don't want to get off at George Bush. The next layer down is a bicycle pedestrian layer. Next slide, please. Is a bicycle pedestrian layer that basically carries all the bicyclists and pedestrians through the intersection without having to interact with either the train or the cars. It's about 15 to 20 feet down. It has all of the Americans with Disability Act requirements in terms of the path slope, so it'll be a nice, inviting place to walk. It should also be mostly out in the open, the way the design is now. It's not really a covered-over tunnel, because the next level down is where most of the street action happens. So this George Bush would be underneath that pedestrian layer and underneath the railroad. So the bottom, all of the George Bush traffic would go down to the bottom, and then if you're on Welborn and you want to turn onto or off of George Bush, you would go down to the bottom also. That's plus or minus about 3.5 stories below ground level. So we're talking about a fairly deep hole in the ground. Again, doing this, having the through roadways up on the top will allow us to signalize this intersection at more like 70% of the green time for Bush and 30% of the green time for Welborn. So even though all the Bush traffic has to go through a signal, it'll have a lot more green time. Here's a couple artist rendering depictions. They're somewhat crude. We haven't put a lot of time into these, again, because the design is not yet set. But what you see next to the overly large McDonald's, I think we've made this into a super McDonald's, is 2 railroad tracks. Union Pacific wants to double track this area eventually, and having 2 railroad tracks actually allows us to build this much faster. We build a separate track, move the train service onto that, and rebuild the track where it is right now. And then to the right of that are the 2 through roadways, sort of up in the air. You can see the Welborn piece going down and intersecting with Bush down at the bottom level, and you can see some of the bicycle pedestrian features. If you go to the next one, this is on Welborn Road looking through the intersection at Bush, so you get a sense of kind of how far above those through roadways are. And the next one comes at it from the George Bush side. Again, we've created a super Aggieland Outfitters. You can see the George Bush traffic goes underneath this pedestrian layer way down. You can see a substantial number of the bicycle pedestrian walkways going through there. The roadway would come back up to ground level before Olson Boulevard on the west, and would start down at about Montclair on the east side. This is, again, a view from the George Bush side. You can see we'd have double left turn lanes in all the approaches, and really try to beef up the capacity of the intersection while we're doing it. Here's another view of some of the bicycle pedestrian features looking south from kind of the Kyle Field corner of the intersection. And this is up above, sort of on the Bluebell Park north side of the intersection. You can see one of the bridges that would carry the bicyclists and pedestrians across that. Back when the project was first conceptualized, there was an issue of, do we want to close it down, close the complete intersection down and work at it as fast as we can, or do we want to narrow the road, maybe one lane and go at it for 4 or 5 years. At that point, the decision was made, let's work on a design that we can work around just fully closing the intersection and deal with the traffic. I think that's still the orientation that we've heard back from people, but again, that is still up for negotiation or discussion. If you think about moving that design into a 24/7 construction schedule, which, again, if you think about how we fund this with our own local money, a really aggressive construction schedule isn't in the budget. But if we were to get some extra money, we could think about a 24/7 construction schedule that would have some more incentives for rapid completion. You could think about, number one, we have to have the railroad operating the whole time. But maybe we, for discussion purposes, we would close the intersection after the day after the last graduation ceremony at A&M in December. We'd keep the intersection closed for 5 or 6 months while we start to rebuild the intersection. We could open those through roadways on Welborn Road at the end of 6 months and create those through roadways. We'd have to keep the Bush section closed for another 3 months, but we would probably be able to open the Bush section a week or so before move-in for students in the fall. So we'd have it closed throughout the spring and the summer, disrupting an awful lot of events. But that's the kind of schedule that we could be on with the existing design and a little bit more aggressive construction approach. Again, all this is up for discussion, but we just want to give people an idea of what we're looking at. Now, when would this start? Well, realistically, probably about 2022. Why is that? It's because we're doing a lot of other things to allow us to sort of set up for handling all the traffic that's going to have to go somewhere else. The fancy intersection at the corner of Stotzer and FM 2818 is going to go on for a couple of years. During that, at some point in that process, we're going to start widening 2818 from that point all the way around to Welborn Road. When we get that project finished, we'll have enough capacity, we think, to handle some of the traffic that would have to go somewhere else from the Bush-Welborn project. So we're not left with both roads into South College Station being under construction at the same time. So again, we've got a big challenge. We need people to give us some ideas what their thoughts, concerns, suggestions are. To do that, we've got a questionnaire. Next slide, please. Well, my bad. No. I forgot which order the slides were in. We've got a whole bunch of ideas. We could change schedules around, both class schedules, worker schedules. There's a lot of things that sort of we on the A&M side have to do that could make life easier for this project, make life easier for the neighborhoods. There's also a lot of different design techniques and elements that we're working on. The questionnaire is one way that sort of helps people walk through what some of our trade-off ideas are, what some of our concerns or possible suggestions are. We're trying to get people to give us their opinion of what our ideas are so that when we work on this over the summer and we come back to them in the fall with some more ideas and concepts, they'll be more integrated with what the community wants to see. So we'll be reacting to some early indications of what might be successful. So really what we want to make sure people understand is that they really do need to get involved in this, get engaged. We're listening. TxDOT has asked us to make sure that we're engaging the community, around the issue of what do you want to do, not just what do you want the thing to look like at the end, but how do we want to get there? What are the disruption kinds of issues? We've got a questionnaire at our website, bwx-bcs.org, that'll help people walk through there. We're available for meetings, gatherings. I get more out of a meeting with 100 meetings with 20 people than one meeting or two meetings with 200 people. Having the chance to engage with the public is really what this project is about, and so we would hope that if anybody's got a group that they want to give us 15 or 20 minutes on their agenda, we could show up to. If you go to Aggie baseball games or Brazos Valley Bomber baseball games, you're probably going to see me also. I've told people that my goal at the end of this is I want you to be sick of seeing me. Some of you may already be there. Questions?
Comment. This is what we need. I noticed that TTI had a MOU that was on College Station City Council's last council meeting, to where there's an agreement to work together for testing and looking at ideas and things like that. And I just wanted to comment that I think that was a great accomplishment to have TTI right here in our community. I've always believed that we now have grown to the size to where we can, hopefully as we grow, be the showplace for what is the right way to get it done. So thank you.
Absolutely. I think that both our president of A&M, the chancellor of A&M, and our director have all said, hey, we need to get more engaged with the local community, and I, as a professional matter and a personal matter, have really enjoyed having that opportunity, so thank you very much.
All that you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. We all know that when it begins, no matter what the decision of how to get it done, there's going to be issues out there. But
Absolutely, and I'll be retired by then, so that'll be, no, actually I'm not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll consider take action on agenda items 4 through 17. Number 4 is proclamation 17-020 designating the week of May 7 through 13, 2017 as National Correctional Officers and Employee Week. Motion made and seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Shura. Staff. Well, we heard what a great job the review went last week,
Right.
and so it's prime time to
Showcase
Yeah,
our
you
our
bet.
facility.
I'm gonna let you read the proclamation.
All right.
Shura.
Great, thank you. Judge, Commissioners, thank you for this. This week is special for us in that we get to recognize those that serve in our detention facility. There are 172 paid staff that serve the correction part of our operations, and they do a marvelous job. And as the judge mentioned, last week we announced that we had our most recent surprise inspection by the state, and we exceeded those minimum standards and were recognized for that. And so it's just one of our opportunities today to thank those for doing a good job. With me today is Lieutenant Reginald Walker. We have Courtney Waller, one of our detention officers, and then Laura Cook, who's our administrative assistant. Just about everybody else in our jail administration's out at the Hamilton unit this morning. They're having a special event, and our honor guard is out there. So we're here today representing the jail. But thank you for passing this proclamation, and I will take a minute to read it. It's the National Correctional Officers and Employees Week. Whereas National Correctional Officers and Employees Week was first proclaimed on May 5th, 1984 by President Ronald Reagan when he signed Proclamation 5187 creating National Correctional Officers Week to recognize the men and women who work in jails, prisons, and community corrections across the country. And whereas National Correction Officers and Employees Week became the official name as the first week in May, when in 1986 the U.S. Senate officially changed the name from National Correctional Officers Week. And whereas National Correctional Officers and Employees Week has been designated as the week of May 7th, 2017 through May 13th, 2017 by the U.S. Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And whereas the National Correctional Officers and Employees Week honors the work of correctional officers and correctional personnel for their service with honor, respect, and integrity. And whereas the National Correctional Officers and Employees Week raises the awareness of duties, hazards, and sacrifices made by the correctional employees. And whereas the National Correctional Officers and Employees Week in Brazos County recognizes correctional officers and employees for their role in safeguarding the citizens of Brazos County by providing safe, secure, and humane incarceration of offenders within their custody. Now therefore be it resolved that the Commissioners Court of Brazos County did hereby proclaim the week of May 7th through May 13th, 2017 as National Correctional Officers and Employees Week. All citizens are encouraged to pay tribute to the many correctional employees working in Brazos County for the vital public service they provide.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you for this opportunity, and again, I'd like to recognize our staff and thank them for the job they do.
Well, it's a tough job that correctional officers have, because we know that they have to deal with folks 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that spend most of their time trying to figure out how to make the officer's life miserable. So you got to overcome that and still deal with it. So
you know, there is a percentage of those that, well, they all want to be somewhere else than right there, but if there are a percentage of them that challenge us, but we're up to that challenge.
Yes.
So I sign this.
Correct.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, and thank you for the job you do. Okay, we will move on to number 5, permission for the county judge to sign a letter from Brazos Central Appraisal District requesting payments to be made to BCAD for their operations budget to be paid annually, no later than December 31st of the year prior to the budget year beginning 2018 operating budget. Motion made, second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 6 is certification of the lengthy and genuineness, or the legality and genuineness of a petition accepted from the Brazos Talent Initiative Committee of Research Valley Partnership of a petition for Brazos County to establish a junior college district in accordance to Section 130.035 of the Texas Education Code. Trudy, are you? Okay.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners. The Brazos Talent Initiative Committee of the Research Valley Partnership filed a petition for a new Brazos County, Texas college district with the Brazos County Commissioners Court on April 25th. Section 277.002 of the Texas Election Code was used to validate the signatures of the petition. According to Section 277.02, the petition must contain the signer's signature, printed name, date of birth or VUID number, signer's residence address, and the date of signing. My staff checked the statutory requirements of the petition. Signatures acquired prior to October 27th were not valid because the signatures expire after 180 days. Each signer was checked against the voter registration roll to see if they were registered in Brazos County, if they listed a residence address that was within Brazos County, and if a date of birth or VUID number was listed. If something did not fall in the required information, it was highlighted. After the pages were processed by my staff, they were entered in a spreadsheet to obtain the number of signatures and how many signatures were accepted or rejected and the grounds of rejection. On the date of filing, Brazos County had 103,567 registered voters, with 96,065 of those voters being active. The petition must contain 10% of the active voters, which is 9,607, to qualify. The petition contained 555 pages and a total of 9,917 signatures. 709 signatures did not qualify, leaving a total of 9,208 qualified signatures.
I have a document for the court. Commissioners, this is a letter from Ms. Hancock, the elections administrator, that reflects her report that she was given. The second phase of this is for the commissioners to vote.
And, Candy, if you'll put up that other statute. Oh, okay. The statute that, is required, by the, law that creates or allows for the petition is, Texas Education Code, Section 130.035. In it, that's the other statute, Candy, up the flash drive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, let me go back. I thought there was only one on there, but. You just went further down on the page?
Yes, if it's further down. There it is. Okay. This is the Texas Education Code statute that, the Commissioners Court is required to consider, if this petition is to be forwarded to the Texas Higher Education Board. And the, provision that is highlighted in the green tint is, the requirement for the Commissioners to pass upon the legality and genuineness of the petition. Ms. Hancock has just recently given you her report, her assessment. There was 9,607 signatures required to qualify. In this particular case, 9,208 were valid, and this falls below the required 10% for this petition to be forwarded to the Texas Higher Education Board. So I need a vote. I'll ask for a motion and a second and a vote that this petition fails, Section 130.012, Section 1.
I move that it fails. Okay, motion made, seconded, that this motion would fail. Is there any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, or of the motion was that this would fail, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Number 7 is request the Sheriff's Office for out-of-state travel for senior investigator Kenny Elliott to travel to South Carolina to interview a witness in a homicide investigation. Dates of travel is May 1 through 7, 2017. Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 8 is approval of donated and awarded inmate property from Brazos County Detention Center. Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 9 is approval of the following job descriptions.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 10 is a request from Road and Bridge Department to approve the payment authorization to Ike Small Engines in the amount of $555.56 for the replacement repair supplies for chainsaws for road crews. Purchase order was not obtained in advance.
Move for approval.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 11 is award of IQ 17-284 herbicides and surfactants. Hold it, let's get Mandy to.
Yeah, we have some, I drew the short stick. If Cheryl, will you come? So we have 3 lots that we have to draw for, or 3 products. And the first one is, number 9. Winfield is the winner for that. Product number 14 is Milestone. Red River is the winner for that one. Red River was the winner for the second one, 14. Number 20, let me show that.
Red River was the winner for that one as well, for number 20.
Okay, Judge, I don't know, did you want to read out the other item numbers that were for the record, or do you want me to?
Why don't you read that out?
Looks like CWC Chemical Inc., was awarded items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 13. Red River was awarded 6, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, and 23. And Site 1 Landscape Supply was awarded 7, 20, and 24, correct, Mandy?
And then,
Oh, and there was no award for number 5. Oh, and then Winfield was awarded items 10, 11, 15, and 22. And no award to number 5.
and do you want me to read the other 3 that we just drew again? You have that? Okay.
Okay, we need a motion and a second. Motion made and seconded to award those bids. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 12 is award of contract 17-098, repair of exposition complex parking lot.
Move for approval.
And I think that was, is that A1 Construction, is that?
Yes, sir.
That one? Okay.
Second.
Motion made seconded to award the bid to A1 Construction. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 13 is award of contract 17 dash 291 copiers for FY 2018 subject to appropriation funds. And that's gonna be, it's Sabon?
Dayhill.
Dayhill, okay, Dayhill. Okay. We got a motion for Dayhill
Second.
and second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 14 is tax refund application for the following.
I move approval of A through H.
Motion made second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 15 is budget amendments. Budget amendments FY 16/17, 32.1 through 32.9.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 16 is personnel change status.
Move approval.
Motion made second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 17 is payment of claims. Claims to be paid by Brazos County. Claim number 7155303 through claim number 7155576.
Move for approval.
Second. Motion made second. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Opposed? None motion carries. Number 18 is Sheriff's Report on Inmate Population. Sheriff.
Judge and Commissioners, in the last 24 hours, our committee was 656 inmates, 562 male and 94 female. We have 72 currently wearing ankle monitor and home confinement, and 19 are pending.
Thank you, Sheriff. Number 19 is acknowledgement of the Brazos County Expo Complex FY 2017 second quarter sales and marketing report. Tom, I don't know whether you, okay.
Very good.
Yeah. Sure does. Okay, thank you. And number 20 is acknowledgement of investment report for quarter ending March 31st, 2017. Number 21 is announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics.
I had a meeting with Eric Todd, who runs the FQHC, and I'd asked him to constitute Mr. Ford to make a presentation since we deal with the indigent health and such, what he does. So I think we've got him scheduled for next week.
Okay.
In light of Mr. Dr. Lomax's presentation, and I would like to have Brazos County consider a memorandum of understanding of working with Brazos County relative to transportation needs, comparable to what City of College Station did. I think that we might find some opportunities to borrow from their expertise as we grow. As a possible future agenda item.
All right. Next item is, calls for citizens' input and/or concerns. I would like to share, the United States Army Special Operations Command just finished their training, in Brazos County and some of the surrounding counties. And of course, they don't make a formal, announcement of any of that because it's special ops. But, they gave, a certificate of appreciation to the citizens of Brazos County for our, allowing that to happen. And so, when I talked to the man that was, that gave this appreciation, he said, I told him, I said, I'm happy that y'all are getting the training, I hope you never have to use it. And he said, we're actually using this training overseas today. I mean, so it's a constant, ops are always out, dealing with, whatever they deal with, and it's a good opportunity to train, to prepare for those things. So, anyway, they gave the citizens of Brazos County a certificate of appreciation. So,
Well, we appreciate the work they do.
yeah, you bet. Next I, oh,
They want to come and work on those things here in Brazos
yeah.
County. I think anytime we'd love to have